Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to Music Production with Mano One. Today we're going to talk about some of AKAI's latest MPCs, Music Production Center. I have the MPC Live II in front of me. I have the MPC One as well on the right side. So, people ask like, which one should I buy? And actually, I was asking myself that question. I thought I would share with you my findings. I've been using MPCs for a long time. Around the mid-2000s, I think the MPC 1000 came out, and I got one of the first ones that came out. I was really excited about the 1000. So I got the 1000, had it for several years, and eventually I got an MPC 2000, which is an older model. And I really love the sound of the 2000, and for various reasons, I sold it and bought a 2000 XL, which is also really nice. Let's talk about the new ones. Because I was so used to the old MPCs, when I saw that AKAI was releasing, the Touch a few years ago, which is very similar to this, but you needed a computer plugged in all the time. And so I know my way around computers in making music, but I really enjoy not using computers because computers feel like work. So then I think the Live came out after that. And that was, 3-4 years ago. It's a while back when the Live came out. And it's just like this one, minus a few things, and I'll tell you about this. When the Live came out, I'm like, okay, this is standalone. That's very cool. It was like $1,400. I don't know how much it was. But to me, that was like, that's a lot of money. It doesn't look like an MPC. It was like black, kind of rubberized. And I'll talk about the rubber in a minute. And it's just, I was fine with my MPC 2000 XL. And plus, there weren't that many plugins built in. You could plug it to the computer with the MPC software and run pretty much any VSTs on it. So, but again, that would make it a computer setup again. And by itself, the Live could sample and everything else, but it didn't have that many like synth and things like that. Over the years, AKAI made updates that I believe made it better, but I ignored all MPCs from AKAI until about a month ago. And so the Live came out, then the MPC One came out. When the MPC One came out, I thought AKAI's crazy because, I don't know, it was too many MPCs to me. It looked the same. It was, $699, and the Live was, I don't know, $1,200, $1,400 or something like that. So I just was like, not making fun of AKAI, but I just didn't pay attention really. And I'll tell you what, I was wrong. So about a month ago, a friend of mine let me borrow his AKAI MPC One. I didn't have to buy it, right? So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll pick it up. I'll try it. And long story short, I really, really liked it. Like, I learned the interface super quickly. And they're the same, by the way, screen-wise, they're the same. And so I'll talk about differences later. But by loving the MPC One, I basically loved the new MPCs. The X has the same, kind of menu system. I believe all the way down to the Touch, which needs a computer again. But I was like, my gosh, like it's been years of basically those instruments coming out from AKAI, and I was wrong. It's really amazing. I made a bunch of songs in bed. I have a nice backyard and front yard, and we have like outside furniture, like couch and stuff like that. I was laying on the couch making music with the One, and I had to run an extension cord to inside the house. Okay, and I was like, okay, well, the Live exists. I can have charged battery. There's a battery inside the Live, right? And the Live II, they're similar. And so I was like, okay, I want an MPC. I don't know if I want the One, but I want an MPC. And I was excited about being able to take my MPC with me, in the parks that are near my house. I live in California. We have beautiful state parks. And so, I thought, hey, I would like this thing, but I'd like to plug a battery to it. And it's like you have to plug it in the back and you have to carry this extra block. I was like, okay, I don't know. To me, it was like, okay, $700 plus tax, plus shipping, and plus the battery, and I still have a cable in the back. I wasn't super interested in that. If I was just in the studio, didn't need to move around, the One is like fantastic. What an amazing machine for $700 and maybe cheaper in some places. But I bought this one. This one was about $1,200. That's a lot of money for basically the same thing as this. However, this one has a battery built in, and the battery seems to last for a long time. I was preparing the room here with the cameras earlier. I don't have power plugged in, right? And it has the battery is still like 85% here. I mean, I had it on for, I don't know, an hour or something like that. So that's pretty amazing. So now I bought this one so I could move around. Now you're thinking, okay, $700, $1,200 just for a battery. Why? Are you crazy, Mano, right? And I guess I'm a little crazy. I wasn't too worried about the money because I sold a synthesizer I wasn't using for about the same amount of money. So I was like, I'll just buy this, forget about it, and just have the battery built in. A few of the things that are really great about this one is there's a sound bar here, right? A speaker. Again, when AKAI came out with the Live II, I thought they were crazy. A speaker and an MPC, what the heck? Like, who needs that, right? And actually, I like it. Like, I'm taking my MPC with me. I'm carrying it around the house under my arm. I'm going to the backyard. And, you know, the headphones are actually another cable I don't have to plug. I bought this thinking, you know what? I'll return it. I have like 45 days to return it from the store I bought it from. I'm crazy. I'm spending $1,200 for a speaker and a battery in it. Let's try it. And now I love the speaker. It's actually nice and deep. It has a great sound. It's pretty loud. I never have it all the way up when the speaker is on. And so that's a good sign. I really like the speaker anyway. And the battery. Now let's talk about more things that are in the Live II, right? And the Live. You have an internal hard drive slot. So right now in this MPC, I have a 1 terabyte SSD drive. That's kind of amazing to have 1 terabyte built in, right? I don't have cards to remove and all that stuff. $1,200 plus the hard drive. As I said, I didn't really watch how much I spent on this. I just wanted the ultimate, no computer needed, central, you know, brain for my studio and make music on the go. And I think this is really it. One thing I would say really quick is that actually, if you're worried about money, I think the best MPC to get right now is the Live I used. The same friend who lent me his MPC 1, he also had a Live I. And the Live I think he paid like $400 or $500 for it, which sounds crazy. And he has a hard drive in it and everything. He paid almost no money for it for what it was. It was cheaper than an MPC 1. He had the battery in it, the hard drive, and more connectivity, which I'll talk about in a second, and different pads as well. So the Live I, if you're conscious about money, used is a really good option. I'll tell you why I didn't buy the Live I used. Not just because of the speaker, but this retro edition of Live II, right, that you see here, looks like an MPC 2000, 3060, the old ones. It has hard plastic on its casing. And the MPC 1 also has a hard casing. Now, why did I not buy the Live I? The Live version 1 is because it's coated with this black rubber. The rubber over time gets kind of sticky and dust gets just sticky on it, and it's a pain in the neck to clean. And so I didn't want that. That material is fantastic. Nothing sticks to it. And watch for that. Nobody's talking about this problem with the Live I having this rubber coating. Something else I want to tell you about is I do a lot of sampling, right, from a turntable. I have my Technics SL1200 MK2 right here. And the connection is a ground and then phono. So it's not line level. It's just all turntables, unless they're really recent and they have line level outs, are phono outputs like that. And you need a preamp, but not this one. The Live and the Live II have a ground connection. You can plug it here. Okay, the ground from the turntable is on. And then I have left and right phono input. In the back, there's a switch to say phono or line level. And then if I go to my sampler, which is double tap on this, I can then play a record. We can hear it. It's very quiet. There's a level in the back. Right? So I was able to just plug my phono into this. It's pretty cool. I mean, because I love my SL1200. I don't want to sell it to buy a turntable that's not as good with line out, so I could plug it into the MPC One. The MPC One, in order to sample from vinyl, you have to have line level output on your turntable, or you need to get a little preamp, phono preamp, or you need a DJ mixer. And that's just adding a bunch of stuff. I have DJ mixer underneath here. It's really massive, and so I just plug directly in turntable in the Live II, and it's really, really cool, right? I love that record. Whoa, the level is too high. Okay, so you can't do that on MPC One. And here, I don't have any power plugged in, right? So you can make music with nothing plugged to it because of the speaker as well. It's just perfect, you know? Let's talk about the weight for a second, okay? So the Live and Live II, especially Live II, are much heavier than the MPC One. The MPC One isn't really portable unless you buy an external battery and plug headphones and all that stuff. But still, I bet with a battery plugged in, it would actually still be lighter than the Live, or especially the Live II, which has the soundbar on top of it, so it's just big. To me, I would say the size, I don't mind it to be wider, and because when I'm laying in bed, and I do lay in bed to use the my MPC.
You caught me totally off guard. I was an emergency, sir. Nobody's out there turn around. Nobody's out there turn around. Nobody's out there turn around. And run away.
I have it like on my knees or on the bed itself, and it's sort of fine to be wider. I don't know how to explain it. Also, not related to size, but the headphone port is on the Live. It's on the Live and Live II. It's in the back, and it's a 1/4-inch jack, so more like for, you know, professional headphones, stuff like that. It's in the back. That means that if I'm leaning against it, I have it on my stomach, right? When I'm laying in bed, if I do this, you see my stomach? Okay, so it's against me. I'm rubbing on it, right? So here, I don't hit anything. But on the MPC One, it's here. You plug it right here. That means that there's a thing sticking out, that's his headphones sticking out, and you have it on your lap, and it's sort of like, it's a pain in the neck. You keep hitting that thing. And I think that's an issue, actually, for something that is, you know, kind of portable. Again, there's no battery, so maybe AKAI didn't want to make it portable. But still, I used it with a cable, headphones, outside in my bed and stuff like that around my house. And it did feel like the headphone jack sticking out was kind of a pain. I like the fact that it's back here. I really like it. Something else also is that the MPC One doesn't have as many outputs. It just has two, has stereo left and right out, and a stereo input left and right. The MPC Live has 6 outputs, 3 pairs. However, that's not really a problem, because you can now, with a 2.10, which is the latest update from AKAI today, the MPC, any MPC, you can plug an audio interface, or audio mixer, anything that's USB and as class compliant audio interface to any MPCs. So you plug that, all of a sudden you could have 16 inputs. You could have mic input with preamps. You can have all kinds of stuff from a fancy audio interface. Plug it to your smaller MPC, cheaper MPC that has less inputs and outputs. And that's just amazing what AKAI did here. Like, kudos AKAI for doing that. When you plug an interface to this new studio, you don't really need the extra outputs that are here. So, but still, here you get a phono input, so you can plug turntables right there. But if you're in the studio and you have an audio interface plugged to this, then you don't mind plugging a preamp or a DJ mixer as well. So I hope this is kind of helping you think about things. This was my decision, and these things either bother me or they're things that were important to me. For you, may not be important, but that's okay. At least you know how my thinking was. So I want to speak about the interface with the user interface of all the MPCs that were made recently. The interface is completely different compared to the old MPCs. So I can't really explain it, even though I know quite a bit about user interface and user experience. I just felt right. There's sequence, there's tracks. For the sequence, you have different tracks, and for me, it would be like, for example, hi-hat, snare drum, kick, stabs, different elements that I have. And for each track, you have a program down there. The first option for a type of track would be, drum program, then there's plugins. There's also key group programs, clip programs, MIDI, and CV, right? There's also CVs in the back, so you can plug it to modular systems, stuff like that. MIDI, because like the old MPCs, it's a fantastic MIDI sequencer. You can plug your whole studio to it and sequence MIDI tracks like this. It's very, very nice. I use my MPC 2000 XL a ton for that, as much for MIDI sequencing as for sampling. I'm not going to go over all the types here. There are other videos on YouTube walking you through the whole interface, and I can make also videos about this if you want to. Ask me in comments. But right now, all I'm saying is you have sequences. Each sequence has a number of tracks. Each track has a type of program or type of instrument. In this case, I have Hip Hop Kid, Daddy-O. So that's a kit that's in one of the expansions that are in it. AKAI has sound expansions you store onto the hard drive or SD card, and you can load from there. And then basically, right, and then you play that. I like how you can switch tracks with this, like this, track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, the interface, I'm not going to walk through the whole thing, but for me as an existing AKAI MPC user, I had no problem using it. Let's talk about the buttons for a second, or more than a second. One thing I was worried about is that the MPC One has a lot of buttons that are dedicated to things like program edit, sampler, and other things like that. The MPC Live has less buttons. And as I was using the MPC One and deciding which model I was going to buy, I kept using the program edit button, which is right here, a lot. I just like it. It's great. You go through program edit, you tap a pad, and then you can, kind of edit the sample right here. And actually, it's a touch screen, by the way, so it's pretty cool, right? Right now on the Live, if I want to go to sampler, basically some buttons or most buttons have a secondary function on them that's written underneath. And by the way, it's hard to read for me for some reason. It's dark gray, and it's black letters on dark gray background. Especially when the lights is down, it's dim, you're in your bedroom or something like that. It's just, I can't read the damn thing, right? So, but I can read really well. When I see mix here, if I type twice, I go to my sampler because it's basically showing me it's the secondary function. Go to menu again. If I go to shift and mix, I get also the secondary function. So the mix button has sampler as secondary function or shift function. I can either double tap to go there or shift and tap on it. So it's not exactly menu diving. It's not too bad, but I wish I had the program edit button at least and the sampler button at least. For the buttons that are missing, like program edit, there's no way to get to them with buttons, not even secondary function. So the way you do it is you either press menu and you look at this 4x4 grid of options and you find program edit, you tap on it, and you unprogram edit. And that's menu diving, right? But there's another way to do it, but you have to learn like muscle memory. So if I hold menu, I see my 4x4 grid of options here. I showed you program edit is the second from the top left. Guess what? You press this, and I'm in program edit. I had to learn that, right? Go back to main, menu, tap this one, program edit. Now I know also that song is right here, song mode. So I can do menu, find it, click song right here, go back to main, or hold menu, do this, and go to song. I use song a ton. I made several songs on this machine. I wish I had a song button, but I don't believe there's a song button on the one. So, it doesn't have all the buttons you need either, so it's not perfect. I don't know, man. I still like the Live much better, Live II much better, because I can carry it around. Hard drive, phono input, I think that's really important to me, but it's something to know about it. Another ergonomic issue, or kind of topic, is that the MPC One has the screen above the pads. It looks just like an MPC 2000 XL, right? Where you have the pads and everything, and you have the screen up there that tilted on the XL. Now listen to this. To me, when my hands are here and I'm doing this, I have to reach then to the screen here. Even though it's right here and you don't cover the screen when you play pads, where here, it looks like you might do that. In fact, when you do this, you don't cover the screen either, right? So, I don't know, it's not really an issue to cover the screen. A good friend of mine, who's an amazing producer, and he's a hero of mine. I'm not going to say his name here, but he and I had a lot of discussions about this, and for him, he's like, this is weird. You have the screen, like, you're going to cover the screen when you play, and to me, it's not really an issue. And right now, I have this turntable on the left kind of blocking my way, so maybe I'm more like this, but I don't know. I'm not covering the screen. What's interesting is actually, it's right here, right? Menu. It's just do. My hands are already at the same level as the screen when I'm playing with it. On the one, it's not the case. I'm like this all the time, and I have to reach up to do this. In fact, I'm covering the pads when I'm touching the screen. So it's almost like what I thought was an issue, my friend thought was an issue, it might be less of an issue on the live, right? So you have to reach up. Now, if I say I have to reach up, you're going to think like, come on, you're Mano, you're lazy. It's not far. Yes, but when you have a touch screen, you're trying to type a name of a sequence, for example, in here. Sometimes if I'm reaching up, I'm laying in bed or whatever, I'm reaching up, it doesn't always work well. Like, it doesn't always, like, somehow it's not always responsive. And some YouTubers pointed that out. They weren't sure if the live screen was better than this one. But my theory is that my hands are already here and I'm pushing down. You see that? Instead of like, kind of like doing this. So I think there's a difference there. I have had no problem naming stuff on here and touching the different area, where I had a hard time renaming things without making errors here. So take it for what it is. To me, that's fine. It is wider. It's also, but it's not as tall by, like, I don't know, a couple inches, maybe 5 centimeters here. Makes a difference. Something that is about the buttons as well is that the buttons on the MPC One, you're not going to hear it, but it goes click, 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 click. I don't have a microphone there, so you can't hear it. On the MPC Live and Live II, the buttons, they just do a tuk, tuk, tuk. They have a very, very soft touch to them. This is a retro edition, by the way. This is why it looks like the old MPCs, and that's why I bought that one, because it's not sticky. Anyway, the buttons I think feel much better here. They feel better than the old MPCs. The MPC One, the clicky buttons actually feel more like the MPC 2000 XL and things like that. So it's not bad. But once I got the Live II Retro Edition, I pressed these buttons and it just felt so much better. So this is quite good for me. Back to the screen placement. The screen doesn't tilt, okay? Which is fine, but when you're sitting in front of the MPC One, the screen actually looks kind of far away from you. And on the Live and Live II, it's not much closer to you, but actually there's a bit of a difference. You will already be in a position where the buttons at the top are easily reachable, right? You position yourself, and the screen actually feels more readable than if it was like up here. All right, so yeah, if we align the pads, you can see there's actually quite a bit of a difference, right? It's way up there and down here. So ergonomically, I think the Live and Live II are better for me. But for $6.99, if you don't need to move around and you have a way to plug a turntable with lines or preamps already or mixer, that is just amazing. If you don't care about the money, you can buy a new Live II Retro Edition, no rubber on it, it's fantastic, outputs, blah, blah, blah. Or a Live, if you want to get best of both worlds, I would say, minus the sticky rubber and not having the speaker, is Live One used. So next, I'd like to talk about the pads. I don't know if you see the difference, but those pads on the Live and Live II are much bigger than on the One. They also feel a little bit more squishy on the Live II. I thought they were the same as my old 2000 XL. They're not. The 2000 XL actually, they just felt a little bit softer, but maybe it's because my 2000 XL is old, right? That's an old MPC. But these felt a lot better to me, not just because they're bigger than these, but just when I tap them, they have more give a little bit. I just like how they have a give to them. I really like these pads better. So last thing I'd like to say is that the Live II and the Live have Bluetooth connectivity. So if you buy like controllers and things like that, often they're Bluetooth enabled. So that's really cool. You just get a keyboard or something like that, and you just plug through Bluetooth, and you don't have to have cables everywhere, right? So this has Bluetooth. The MPC One does not have Bluetooth. So that's a big difference as well. If you have the little Arturia controllers and things like that, or the core controllers that are Bluetooth enabled. Another thing is the Live II or the Live, both of them have Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi is used for updating the software and for connecting to your Splice account. I don't use Splice, but many people do, and it must be pretty cool to be able to just access all this stuff through Wi-Fi, through the internet. Both of them have a network jack connector here. So this is the Cat6, Cat5, Cat6 cables. So you have to like hook a LAN cable into your router, your home router, Wi-Fi router, or something like that. So on the one, it's not ideal, but if you only need connectivity once in a while, it's fine. But it's kind of cool to have Wi-Fi built in. I think, it's cool. It's got all kinds of features that are pretty neat, and I think make up for the price difference. So these are my thoughts about the MPC One, MPC Live II, Live II Retro Edition, and all the things I was talking about before. I did a lot of thinking about this, and I thought I would share that with you, and just not even just edit it, just talk to you about it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, click on like, click on the bell icon to be notified when I make new videos, and tell your friends about it who might enjoy the content. See you next time.